Let's bring in Jim Trusty, former Justice Department prosecutor and former attorney for President Trump. Jim, this feels like a very open and shut case. This guy came from Washington State all the way here to D.C. He clearly ambushed these two National Guard troops that were wearing their uniforms. It feels like there is malice, there's intent, but there's a lot of talk now about mental health issues and the president himself wondering if this guy went cuckoo before he did this. How could this hurt a case that Jeanine Pirro is trying to put forward, or how could it complicate this if he's found to be mentally unfit?
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll complicate, but that's very different than really hurting the case. I mean, look, right now we've got charges that are in the Superior Court for D.C., the local side of the federal prosecution, and that's going to change. I would tell you, my guess is probably 95% that we're going to see federal charges swapped in here. For one thing, the Superior Court side does not allow for pursuit of the death penalty. And I think what we're hearing from the Department of Justice and from the U.S. Attorney is a pretty clear cry for seeking the death penalty in this case. So I think you're going to see evolution of charges over coming days. Maybe we still start in Superior Court. That buys the FBI time to develop more information about motive evidence. And, you know, motive and premeditation, the facts that connect to those are the most powerful facts to knock down a mental health defense. Okay. So when somebody says that they're crazy or they have PTSD or they have some sort of, disturbance in their life that caused this rupture from normality, that stuff usually gets overcome by pure facts, that a guy drove from Washington State with a 357 to ambush people in the middle of the day. So, it makes for a long contested penalty phase in a death penalty trial someday, where all of this stuff about Afghanistan is probably going to play out. But I don't think it's going to change the charging decisions, which are going to elevate to a federal case with death eligibility in the near future.
Well, you're right. They definitely want to go after the death penalty. This is Attorney General Pam Bondi talking about that yesterday on Fox and Friends. Listen.
It's going to depend on what happens to them. Again, we're praying for a recovery for them. But worst case scenario, minimum life in prison with terrorism charges. We're doing everything we can as fast as we can. ATF has been involved analyzing the gun. They're moving at light speed to make sure justice is served.
Like you said, it is a federal district, so they can do this, even though D.C. banned the death penalty a long time ago. Is it advisable to pursue the death penalty?
Well, I mean, look, that's a very difficult decision that people have to make for themselves. But I would tell you, I was on the Attorney General's Capital Review Committee for many years when I was a federal prosecutor. And, my view was, short of some sort of religious or philosophical opposition to the death penalty, there are times where the case cries out for it. Boston Marathon bomber, Charleston church shooter, Pittsburgh synagogue. There's a lot of examples in my book of ones where it's such a heinous crime that it makes sense that if we have this on the books, prosecutors should pursue it. So I think you're going to see something like a charge, Section 1114 of the Title 18, which is essentially targeting armed services members because of who they are. I think that's going to probably fly. There may be some other terrorism-type charges. There'll certainly be accompanying firearm charges. And I think you'll probably see a death penalty case. Now, maybe the mental health story, the mitigation will be more powerful than we're giving credit at this point. That's a long road to really be able to assess that. But I think it's probably the type of case this administration is going to put their foot down and say we have to seek.
Yeah. Hopefully he talks. Hopefully he is cooperative and we can find out what he was thinking, what this motive was. I think there's a lot of people that need to know what happened here. Jim, always good to see you. Have a great weekend.
Sure, you too. Good to see you, Aisha.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.